How are you going to tell me that a movie that makes $400 million worldwide in its first weekend is a flop? This is something I'm hearing all over. It's not a flop. You can say, oh, maybe it's in dire straits because it didn't make $10 million more. Instead, it made $400 million. You could say at least it's a financial disappointment for sure. But $400 million worth of people wanted to see it in its very first weekend. And let me tell you something, it has nothing except for maybe Puss in Boots in its way for the next 6 weeks, 8 weeks until Ant-Man whatever it's called comes out. So don't worry about this film. Also, second weeks are usually better to tell than first because you got to have legs and you don't know what it's going to do. So can we at least ease up on that and then start talking about whether or not the movie is good? Okay, and that, of course, is subjective. I think it was pretty good. I liked it. Once again, I thought it was a gorgeous movie. I think that's one thing everybody's saying. Even if you don't like the story, you can't escape the fact that this is one hell of a beautiful movie to look at. Unfortunately, if I were to pull some problems out, the one thing I would pull out is the fact that it kind of suffers from Star Trek, the motion picture disease, where it takes these, you remember it took loving shots around the Enterprise and everything, and it just got long and a little bit boring. Now, I didn't feel the time, but when I saw those scenes, I said, well, I know how we could cut down this movie. I don't need 45 minutes of them going, ooh, look, fish. It just wasn't necessary. It's not a literal 45 minutes. Also, I wondered, what do they eat? Because those fish aren't afraid of those Navi. So you would think, I mean, at one point in time, a whale opens up, a whole bunch of smaller fish goes into his mouth as if he's eating them. So you see the Navi jump into the river and the fish are like, oh, my friends. It's like a Disney princess. So I wondered, this movie does have its problems. And a lot of people are saying the story, I don't mind the story. It's very basic. You've seen it before. It really is a color by numbers revenge film. And it really does seem kind of silly. Jake Sully's not in charge of where they want to get the unobtainium, but we find out it's not unobtainium before. Oh, and by the way, if you come at me with unobtainium, you don't know how stupid you're sounding, because especially in the 2000s, unobtainium actually shows up in other movies. It is just something that it's a MacGuffin nobody cares about. Okay, unobtainium is not important. It shows up in other movies as unobtainium. That's what they're after. And if you come up to me with the whole crap about Fern Gully or Dance, you're just showing me you've only seen this movie in Fern Gully, because movies sometimes take the plots of other films and kind of turn them around a little bit. Die Hard on a subway train, Die Hard on, you get this all the time. But for some reason, the movie that you drew the frickin' line at is Fern Gully. Really? Barbed Wire is literally Casablanca with boobs, and Fern Gully, that's where you stop? I don't know. But let's talk about this one. The Jake Sully's back. He's got his family. He's more cautious and he's more caring now. He wants to protect his family. And when he hears that the humans are coming after him again, he decides to move. So instead of risking his family's life in one village, he's going to go to a seaside village and risk their lives. And that's basically, and then we've got the Colonel from the first movie coming back in an avatar body, because I don't know, if you're going to war up, you want the guy who failed the first time to jump in and war again, right? And like I said, the movie has flaws, but still I found it to be entertaining. I thought it's 3 hours long. I did not feel those 3 hours. I really didn't. It went by really quick, and I had a large soda with me. Didn't have a bathroom issue. Of course, when I came out at the end, okay, we'll talk. It was like Tom Hanks in Major League. Or whatever that female baseball movie was called. Overall, look, the acting was fine. This movie is absolutely fine across the board. The acting isn't going to win any Oscars, but it works. The story is decent. You've seen it before. It's action freaking packed. No. The beginning and the end are action freaking packed. The middle, it really will depend on how much you care about these characters, because It really, in the middle, it really is world building. It's all about building up the world. You can tell there's going to be sequels to this because he's setting up this world that they live in so hard. He's going hard on that. So once again, I think it's a bit of a mixed bag, but overall, I was entertained. I liked it. I didn't feel the runtime. I had fun with the action. I did think they kind of circled a couple of times, like they did the same thing at the end once too often. I liked the bit with the whales. Once again, the underwater sequences are beautiful. And I'll tell you what, though, if you're going to see this movie and you say to yourself, I'll wait until it comes, you're doing yourself a disservice. This is a film that deserves to be seen on the big screen, and you deserve to see it on the big screen. So if you are going to, I say go see it on the big screen and then forget about it when it comes home. It's like the original Avatar. Everybody loved Avatar while it was on the big screen. When they got it at home and they saw the flaws, they didn't care for it too much. So why repeat that mistake? This is a film to see on the big screen, kids. But that's just my opinion. What is yours? Let me know what you think in the comments below. I sounded very wishy-washy on this one, but that's the way it is. I can't say it's a great film. I can't say it's a good film. I can say it's an entertaining film. I liked it. I enjoyed it, and I would recommend you see it in the big screen instead of at home. And I know the whole thing about films, oh, well, I want to see it once, is you wait until it gets home. But go see it on the big screen. That's the way to do it, just like the original Avatar. But once again, my opinion. What is yours? In the comments below. Don't forget to click like, share, subscribe. You know the stuff. You know the thing. You know the thing. And also, we've got a Ko-Fi link down below. This is the way we're trying to make a living. And if you don't mind helping out the channel, go on, put $1 in the tip jar. I'd like to thank everybody who's already done that. And to everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching. Have a good night.